Tigers are commonly seen as fierce and dangerous creatures, but Atwood discovered a small, injured cub in the forest that was unable to harm anyone. He believed the tiger had forgotten all about him, but was surprised by its reaction when they met again years later. Hello and welcome to Amazing Animal Stories. Today's story is of a man who helps a crying tiger. You won't believe what the tiger did to thank him. However, before we begin our story, we would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to our channel, Amazing Animal Stories, and also press the bell icon. Let's get started. Atwood was a humble man living alone in a mountain village without any family and a limited education. Despite this, he was intelligent, brave, and never shied away from a challenge. So when offered the position of a forest ranger, he eagerly accepted. The job was ideal for him, as he had grown up in the mountains and was intimately familiar with the area. He conducted routine patrols every other day, noting what he observed for his team of rangers. One cold winter morning, during one of these patrols, he stumbled upon something that would alter his life forever. The forest was blanketed in deep snow, making it almost unrecognizable. Atwood struggled to catch his breath as he trudged through the snow weighed down by his mountain gear. During a brief rest, he heard faint whines coming from nearby. He paused and attempted to locate the source of the sound, but it was abruptly ceased as soon as he moved. Atwood wondered if he was imagining things and if the sounds were not real. As he was preparing to continue his journey, he heard the sound again. This time, he was able to pinpoint the source near a bush in front of him. He approached cautiously and saw a head poke out from under the snow. To his surprise, it was a tiger cub whining and shaking its head to clear the snow. Atwood examined the cub closely, noticed several bloody bite marks on its body, and suspected it had a broken leg. Without hesitation, he took action to help the cub. He picked it up and cradled it close to his chest as he quickly made his way down the mountain and back to his village. At his home, he made a bed for the cub using old clothes and found medicinal herbs to help stop the bleeding. He gathered some sticks from the garden and tied them to its broken leg for support. He also gave the cub some more herbs to treat its wounds. Despite being a long day, Atwood could only think about the tiger cub in his home. He knew it must be hungry, but he wasn't sure what to feed it. Suddenly, he remembered that his dog had recently given birth and had a fresh milk supply. He gathered some of it into a bowl and brought it to the cub, hoping it would be enough to keep it alive through the night. The cub was tired and in pain, but it seemed interested in the milk. Atwood held the bowl close to its mouth, and it slowly began to lap up the milk with its tongue. The ranger saw this as a positive sign, as animals close to death typically lose their appetite. This gave him hope that the cub would recover. From that day on, Atwood dedicated himself to caring for the baby tiger. He continued to feed it the dog's milk, and with each passing day, the cub grew stronger and bigger. Eventually, its injuries healed, but it was left with a long scar on its leg. As the cub had become a pet to him, Atwood decided to name it Gore. After 6 months, the once weak cub had grown into a majestic tiger. Gore often accompanies Atwood on his patrols through the mountain. During these walks, Atwood observed Gore playing and frolicking in the grass like a large house cat. He was glad that Gore was happy, but he couldn't help but notice that Gore didn't act like a typical tiger. Thus, Atwood made the difficult decision to release Gore back into the wild. He brought Gore up to the mountain, said goodbye, and started to walk away. However, to his surprise, the tiger followed him, just as it had done for the past 6 months. Atwood didn't know how to make Gore stay in the mountain. He tried yelling and shouting, and his plan seemed to work. Gore had never seen Atwood angry before, and frightened, the tiger ran off into the forest. Atwood returned to the village with tears in his eyes. Atwood continued to patrol the mountain but didn't see Gore for a long time. One day, on his daily walk, his life changed forever. He fainted on his trail and was discovered by a local villager named Bonnie, who was chopping firewood in the mountains. Bonnie helped him, and from that day forward, the two became inseparable. After a few weeks, she told him that she felt more than friendly affection for him and wanted to become his girlfriend. He was overjoyed, and 2 years later, they got married. At almost 50, Atwood had a daughter of his own. However, one day, while on his usual walk, He felt a tingling pain in his waist and fainted again. Luckily, Bonnie was there and able to help him once more. It took them 3 hours to reach a nearby road. Then, a passing car helped them to get to the hospital. The doctor discovered that Atwood's right kidney was shrinking and his left kidney was becoming necrotic. Atwood stayed in the hospital for a few days but refused the expensive life-saving surgery. When he returned home, he resumed his everyday life of patrolling the mountain. However, 3 years later, another medical emergency caught him by surprise. This time, his kidneys were in even worse condition than before. Again, he refused the surgery and promised to take more breaks during his walks in the forest. The following summer, Atwood noticed smoke rising from the mountain while on patrol. Forest fires had plagued the area, and he knew something was wrong. The flames spread quickly and became dangerously close to Atwood, who began running down the mountain as fast as he could. Unfortunately, weakened by his health condition, he stumbled and fell. Suddenly, a tiger appeared before him. Atwood didn't know what to do. The fire was closing in behind him, and now a tiger was blocking his path in front of him. He closed his eyes, resigned to his fate, but the tiger's next actions shocked him. Instead of attacking him, the tiger went for his clothes and started dragging him away from the flames. Dazed, Atwood started crawling behind the tiger down the mountain. He was close to safety when a burning branch fell from a tree and pinned him to the ground. The tiger was also injured, but it didn't leave his side. Instead, it searched the ground for something and came back with a big stick. Atwood was confused about what the tiger wanted to do with it, but then it dawned on him that the tiger wanted to use the stick as a lever to free him from the tree. He managed to wriggle free from the branch and resumed his descent down the mountain. He was confused by the tiger's behavior, but he didn't question it at the time. The tiger led him home, and when it was sure that Atwood was safe, it affectionately rubbed its body against his legs. The movement snapped Atwood back to reality. At first, he thought he was dreaming, but now he recognized his old friend, Gore. Although grown and larger, the tiger still had a long scar on its leg from when it had broken its paw. Atwood looked at the tiger and asked out loud if it was Gore. Upon hearing its name, it looked at him and let out a long roar of recognition. After a few minutes, however, the tiger made its way back to the mountain. Atwood desperately wanted his old friend to stay with him a little longer, but the animal now knew its place in the world and returned to its natural habitat. Bonnie found her husband outside their home and was relieved that he was alive. However, Atwood told her that the tiger had saved him. He recounted the tale of Gore and how he had rescued it when it was a cub, and explained that his old friend had returned the favor by saving him from certain death. He knew he would never forget Gore, and was certain that the tiger would always remember him too. What a crazy story. Let us know your views about the story in the comment section below. We hope you found this story interesting. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with others. Also, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel, Amazing Animal Stories. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our new uploads. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time.